I mean, if you have to.
Which I hate because it's such a cliche thing. Like,
Don't do it unless it's required, though.
it's not required yet. I'm voluntarily going to rehab.
All right, well, that will help you. That will help you.
But I feel like Lindsay Lohan.
Well, I felt like fucking what's his face in California.
Which there's
The black dude that said, "Can't we all just get along?"
King.
Yeah, I felt like Rodney fucking King. That's how fucking bad I got beat. I mean, they weren't beating me with sticks, but they were fucking kicking me in the face, kicking me in the stomach. They asked the woman cop to leave because she was allergic. She had an allergy to the pepper spray. They pepper sprayed me fucking 3 fucking times until I shut up because I wouldn't shut up. And not in talking,
I
apparently.
have several friends who that's happened to. The same sort of thing.
Talking, apparently, is resisting arrest in Virginia.
As long as they say stop resisting, whatever you may or may not be doing is resisting.
I mean, they were like fucking like. And I asked the guy, the main one, I was like, "Do you feel like a man? You're fucking you and 3 fucking 250, 300-pound guys are beating up a fucking 5'1.5", 135-pound kid. Do you fucking feel like a man?" And he said, "Yeah, I do."
Well, you should have known better than to say that.
I was not in my right mind at the time. And it was not because of drugs, and it was not because of alcohol. My boyfriend called the ambulance. The cops showed up first. I would have been at the Medical College of Virginia psychiatric unit instead of the police department jail. Fucking if the ambulance had gotten there before the cops did. The amount that the police officers abuse their power, and we need them, and the lion's share of them are great. They're wonderful people. They put their lives on the line every day to protect us, but there is a certain subgroup of cops who I assume were not popular in high school or something. I don't know. And they have a stick up their ass and a chip on their shoulder, and they want to fuck over anyone that they can. And they will do it. So
I dropped you the press release in the chat.
I can't really see it, but just
anyway, I dropped some links down there. If I don't know if Kit Kats is still here, but
okay. All right, I see the link. I'll look at it. But
I'm here.
Just keep your head up, keep your whatever up, and just take it slowly, and don't overreact when you're in the courtroom. Please.
Oh no, I've actually got quite a bit of courtroom experience.
Well, I've only been involved once, but the one time was fucking enough.
Yeah, I'm pretty good in the courtroom. I did almost get contempt because I kept asking the lawyer who's questioning me questions, which apparently you're not allowed to examine the examining attorney.
Yeah. Well, this guy right here, you can tell. Does not belong in fucking jail. And Richmond City jail is like a fucking prison. Richmond City has fucking murderers and it's fucking almost all murderers in Richmond City jail and violent criminals. And this guy right here, you can look at me and you can tell I'm not supposed to be in jail. It was fucking scary as fuck.
I had different problems in jail.
There was a guy named Rodney during the day that went as Dot at night, and he had his extra T-shirt that he pulled down as a scoop neck, and him and this other guy would talk about raping me like 3 bunks away. It was in a bunk situation. We weren't in cells.
Yeah, I was in a tank. 8 men.
Yeah, and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't cry because I couldn't show weakness. I wanted to. This is when I was 26.
Well, I had different problems, namely the no windows and 24-hour fluorescent light bulbs. That was stressful.
Oh, and this particular jail had been around since fucking like the 40s or the 30s. No air conditioning whatsoever. We had fan.
Well, that implies you had windows.
Yeah, but you couldn't get to them.
Well, there was no windows in the room that I was in, and there's no yard time.
I had yard time twice. The only solace I had was hearing the sound of the train outside, because I recognized the train because it ran next to my apartment. It was the only solace I had whatsoever.
We got one piece of paper a day.
Oh my God. The toilet paper situation. You had to fucking guard that shit like it was fucking gold. No, like it was fucking platinum.
I was pretty much not in any concern for my well-being from the other inmates at all.
Well, I was, but I had this one guy there. He was, I call him a simple man. He's
degrading than it probably even is.
He definitely is. He's a slow. He's got developmental disorders, but he recognized me from the street because I used to give him money, and he protected me.
See,
he was gigantic. He looked like the guy from the fucking Green Mile.
And I got offered people's toast as tribute.
Tribute to Yale or even in jail.
Well, two of them knew who I were when I walked in, and I was having a bad day. And
yes, you were.
Yeah, I mean, the two who knew me reacted kind of strongly enough that the others, that everyone in there was like, "Oh my God, what just happened?"
All right, I got to piss. I've been holding in this whole conversation.
That was nice.
The conversation needed to be had.
ADD is also overdiagnosed, in my opinion.
So, hi Liz. Yeah. And the other room.
Okay, I like how Liz you're listening to my pre-thought of
Liz, we can hear the other room.
I'm gonna mute Liz.
Who's doing that?
Oh, okay, she did it. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Taylor.
It's okay. I gotta get
I hope it works out.
It's only getting better.
That's good. I've explained before why I was seeing Katie, and I was wondering where you were. I was like thinking, I haven't seen Taylor in a while.
Taylor, we have so much this in common, but I cannot believe we came together on something as serious as this.
Well, yeah, because people who have undergone similar things like this,
it's
like
you were in Nam too.
It's a life-changing experience.
Yeah,
it is a truly life-changing experience.
Yep.
Especially if it was done unfairly, like it was in our cases.
God bless the lawyers.
We need them sometimes, and luckily you and I have
probably more than most people.
Well, yeah. In fact, we got him on retainer, $10,000, and he actually gave my grandmother back all the money that he did not spend on the case. That's how.
Open tab. Boom.
Yeah.
And he had to buy me my cigarettes when I got out because my wallet is evidence as well.
The first thing I got when I got out was a 20-ounce Coca-Cola and a pack of Marlboro Reds.
Isn't that funny? I wanted pop so bad. The whole time I was in there, I couldn't read or write really because I needed brain noise. But I did manage to put together one letter to the warden demanding that I get pop.
Did you get
Worst thing about being in jail is
Mm-mm.
all the noise at night, not being able to go to sleep because everyone's fucking horsing around and fucking. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
No, because they stopped when I told them to. And there's a guy in Tank 1 who owed me money, and if I was having a bad night, I'd yell it through the vent, and I'd make him sing to me.
I heard a boy get raped in the tier below me.
None of that happened while I was around.
That shit happens.
Everyone got along pretty well, actually.
That shit happens in Richmond City Jail. People die in Richmond City Jail.
Oh, people do here too, for sure. But it's more just negligently.
I'll never forget what the nurse or whatever the medical worker was. She was like, "Damn, that boy had a fine ass too." That's what she had to say after this kid got raped. It's like, no, she's just, damn, it's too bad. That boy had a fine ass too.
That's so callous.
And that's what I had to go to sleep to.
I have a prescription of clonazepam, so I was able to sleep after breakfast and then sleep after dinner.
I have a prescription for that too, but it doesn't work on me anymore because I've been on it for like 15 years. I need to switch to something else. Not Xanax, because Xanax actually works, but it makes me forget what I've done. It makes me say mean things to people. Valium doesn't work either. Neither does Ativan. The only one that affects me in a calming way is Xanax, but Xanax, makes me do bad things. Makes me say mean things to people and then not forget it. Or not remember it later. And then I pass out. Is that a pad or is that
Tablet.
Okay. Yeah. I was wondering if it was an Apple 7 Plus or one of those huge Android phones.
I do have a huge Android phone in the mail because, well, all my phones are in evidence.
Oh gosh.
My jewelry too.
I never got back my wallet. I did get my belt back, which the reason I didn't get granted bail is because I had just gotten out of a cast for 11 months and I was walking with the cane and I slammed my cane down on the like wooden ledge, like wooden gate ledge thing in front of the magistrate.
Oops.
And I told him that that he told me to pull my pants up, and I said I couldn't. They took my belt. If you want my pants pulled up, you need to come down here and pull them up yourself. And then I told him that my grandmother could buy and sell them 10 times over, and then he didn't grant me bail.
Yeah, I bet not.
But he knew how fucked up in the head I was. He could tell. He could tell I wasn't drunk. He could tell I wasn't high. And he was actually my judge when I had my trial.
I
And
didn't have any pants for 24 hours.
yeah, I was in an orange jumpsuit for 24
No,
hours.
I mean, I was in a holding. They arrested me out of bed. I wasn't wearing pants. Then they took me to jail. Then I refused. I hadn't been charged with anything. So for 24 hours, I refused to get booked in. So they didn't give me a jumpsuit.
Oh man.
I did ask for my pants, but the sheriff didn't give them to me. So
I ended up being lucky getting this guy as a judge. He was a very compassionate judge, and he treated me right. But I remember, I'll never forget waking up in the holding cell with that bologna sandwich sitting in between the bars, where the bars went perpendicular to the vertical bars. Now I knew exactly where I was. I didn't know how I got there.
we had bologna sandwiches too, my first meal, and in a weird twist of the universe hating me, tomato soup, which is one of the few things I hate.
Best thing we had when we ate were the breaded chicken patties. And in the morning when we get the days we get oatmeal and a hard-boiled egg, those are my favorite days. And a piece of bread.
But see, the bread was my favorite thing, so that's why I got other people's bread.
And the hot dogs are like those red, nasty hot dogs, like those red, like fucking like sausage hot dog.
Yeah. The cheap ones.
Yeah.
Right. And did you get any juice? We got 1 cup of watered down apple juice in the morning if we were up in time.
No, they called it juice. It was more like Crystal Light, except sugarized.
Yeah, it was weird.
Or you could get milk or water. I chose juice.
Milk was not an option. Water came from the drinking fountain above the toilet.
Hi, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
But I love you all.
We love you too. Why do you look like you're contemplative?
I am.
We were just discussing prison food.
Me and Taylor were just discussing the intricacies and the interesting aspects of going to jail.
We were on different ends of the hierarchy in jail.
Yes. Yes. We definitely were. But at least I had a protector.
Well, I had someone to sing me to sleep.
At least you didn't have Rodney that turned into Dot at night and talked about fucking raping you.
No, I didn't. I had Taco, the guy who'd been hiding from me over $120 for a year.
And then I had the guy that would fight over me over the box fan. He was fucking crazy. His name was Vern, and he would never take a shower. And one day, and he would piss his bed every fucking night. And one day, we actually all got together and threw him in the shower in his jumpsuit and made him get out.
My prison experience involves me sleeping in Paco's bed.
Being sung to sweetly.
I slept in piss the time I went to prison. Jail. I gotta go.
I got a top bunk.
I got a top bunk too, except I was bothering my bottom bunk guy because I couldn't sleep because I kept tossing and turning. And so eventually I just took my mat and just got on the floor. I didn't want to fucking murder me for fucking bothering him. And I mean that literally. I didn't want him to murder me.
No one complained about anything I did once. I did.
They called me Harry Potter when I was in jail, and that bothered me. And I confronted the people that were doing it. I was like, why are you calling me this? Are you joking around? Are you trying to intimidate me? Are you trying to hurt my feelings? And this is a direct verbatim quote. My name's Josh. They said, "God damn it, Jay! Why do you always got to be so fucking serious?"
Well, they got to have fun somehow. It's pretty boring in the tank.
Yeah.
I suppose you could say I was a little bit of I certainly wasn't threatening to rape anyone, but I would get snippy.
I mean, I got snippy at the guy that was pissing his bed next to me every fucking night.
Yeah, that shit just would not have been allowed at all.
But generally, I just kept my emotions to myself to preserve my emotional neutrality as to not be seen as weak.
I'm pretty sure you were seen as weak.
Well, I'm pretty sure I was too, but crying would have made it worse.
Yeah.
And every time I thought about people I loved or my cat, or I'd almost cry. So I couldn't think of any good things either.
Yeah, you can't think about things. That's the trick.
I wonder how many people in here actually understand this experience.
2, I think, so far.
Yeah. Because just what you said right there lets me know that you've definitely been in jail.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a book cart that would come around once a day, but I stopped getting books because I couldn't read.
I couldn't keep my attention span, and I didn't want to play cards either because I wasn't interested in them, and I watched people play cards.
I made myself play cards a little bit, and I was happy I did.
I watch people play cards. All right.
I talk to everybody in the cell.
Oh yeah.
The last day, yeah.
I just never liked cards. And I was
Enjoy the game either, but it was something to break up the monotony.
I was in such an awful mood that I wasn't in the mood to learn anything either.
Neither was I, but it still forced me to do something besides think about not thinking.
Yeah, that's what I was doing the entire time.
And there were those few hour gaps of, I don't have my Klonopin, I can't sleep.
Oh yeah, they would give me my sleeping pill at like fucking like the last med call was at like 6. So they gave me my sleeping pill at 6 and make me take it.
Dude, we didn't get yard time. I didn't see the sun for 9 days. It didn't fucking matter when I slept. I wanted to sleep as much as possible. I wanted my sleeping pill every 2 hours.
The first week I was in there, I was in what's called J tier, which is where you go before you're classified, and there are no windows, none. You have no idea what time it is. It's like fucking sensory deprivation to the max. I think it's done.
Josh, that's how mine was the whole time. There's no windows. There's 8 fluorescent light bulbs that are never turned off, and there's no clock. We weren't allowed to go outside.
And there's a corrections officer sitting at a desk right outside the bars.
Nope. Corrections officers were nowhere to be found. When the guy who got tased 3 times before he got thrown in started having a seizure and cracked his head on the floor, we couldn't get one to answer the little slot that we would yell through.
That's funny because a guy had a seizure when I was in there, and I knew well enough to stick a rag in his mouth, and I called for the guard, but he wouldn't go get a medical person.
Yeah, I don't even know if they heard us.
He wouldn't do it. He said it wasn't needed. I was like, this guy is having a fucking seizure. He might fucking die.
Mm-hmm.
He's bitten his tongue already. He's bleeding. I had to stick my fucking T-shirt in his mouth.
That's a good commodity, too, in jail, especially if it's clean.
Yeah, it is. Especially when you paid extra for one.
We didn't have commissary.
I mean, I wasn't going to sit there and watch this guy bite his tongue off, though. I mean, I just wasn't.
And I stayed in bed because other people were handling it. But like, I would have helped. But,
if no one else had, you would have. But
well, I mean, just like I said, I was at the other end of the totem pole, and people just kind of knew that they needed to do stuff.
Yeah.
It was sort of handled by proxy.
The correction officer thought he was faking. I could tell he wasn't faking because my brother has seizures, and I knew he wasn't faking. But this guy would not listen to me. He would fucking.
The thing is you get a lot of alcoholics in there who are suddenly coming off alcohol. It happens a lot.
Yeah, but this guy was fine 5 days before this happened. He would have been done with the delirium tremens.
I'm saying alcohol withdrawals can kill you. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
If they see enough of it that they don't care.
I had an uncle who had to go into a medically induced coma to get off of alcohol. He ended up fucking dying anyway, but he had to go into a medically induced coma to get off of alcohol.
Those are some addictive genes you've got there in your pool.
Yeah, I do. I have substance abuse problems throughout my family. On my mother's side. And mental health problems on my mother's side. Drowning in my own gene pool.
That sounds so inbred.
Not exactly drowning. I got my head just above water.
Your mom must have been hot.
Funny you say that.
What?
It's funny you say that because all of my friends have made comments like that. Because she looks much younger than she actually is. We all do that take from my mother's side. I'm gonna go smoke that cigarette. If you're not here for some reason when I get back, I really appreciated the conversation we had. It was
Sure.
Informative, and I hope that I mean, I know you knew everything I was already telling you, but I hope I reinforced.
I feel like we bonded too.
Okay. Are you being sarcastic?
This statement was only sarcastic in that I was saying it at all, which surprises me. But no, I do mean it.
All right.
Which surprises me. You know what I mean?
It surprised me, especially between the two of us.
It surprises me because I'm not a bondy sort of person.
Well, neither am I. But this situation.
You stop enjoying this.
No, but I'm just saying this situation is totally separate from just about any other situation that anyone could go through.
It's the weirdest one I have been through yet.
It's traumatic in many ways, traumatic differently for me than it was for you, and you have other things attached to it that I don't.
Well, and I've also I'm a Type 8, so the isolation of being in a tank with no windows as a Type 8 was core fear shit right there.
I can't imagine that, but I can imagine your emotional distress. And I'm sorry you had to go through that because it's bullshit. Because the way that you were, I can't believe that they arrested you before they had a fucking warrant. How has that not been dismissed? I just don't see how that hasn't been dismissed already.
Because the county attorney has a personal
vendetta out against you for some reason.
Yes, there's history.
But that's a base. That's in the Bill of fucking Rights.
I know, but this is all still very fresh. Like, remember, I was in jail for 9 days before I got charged formally. So the judge is kind of just catching up. I haven't even had my first court date since I got bonded.
Have you had a preliminary yet?
No, I had one hearing that got my bond amount reduced from 100 to 50.
I bet you anything when you have a preliminary, it'll be dismissed.
I bet you it won't.
If the
It'll be eased.
Bill of Rights works, you will. Crossing my fingers that it does.
It kind of works.
Well, it works for people that look like us sometimes. If we have money to hire an attorney, or we have one that'll provide their services pro bono. That's another issue entirely, but
yeah. Did you enjoy the moisture?
Yes.
I could see
Hmm?
I could see that you were being a voyeur.
See what?
you're being a
voyeur. It's a word for like a pervert who spies on people.
Oh, boy, you were lagging. That's why I didn't hear it. Voyeur.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's so
you
much
were-
better in here.
Flicking your bean.
No.
How's it going, friends?
It's fine. Did you always address people as friends, or is that something that Eric rubbed off on you? That phrase.
Eric says that?
Yeah.
Friends. This is host Eric.
I actually don't say that often at all. I don't really. I was having a conversation with Josh earlier about the acquaintances and friends, and the word friend popped in my head, so I said hello, friends.
That's an interesting conversation. Where do you fall on it?
wasn't interesting at all, really.
You're all my acquaintances.
And
That's good.
I think that the term, since it is not standardized definition, is very malleable.
Oh yeah, certainly.
The difference is almost entirely situational, except for some people are obviously one or the other.
Well,
Well,
you can
yeah, I mean, you can
emotional
clearly see it
acquaintances,
in
you
someone
can
that's
have
a close
hangout
friend.
acquaintances, you can have party with acquaintances. It's like you can have emotional
See,
soulmate.
straight men don't have that many tiers of friends. It's like there's people you recognize, there's dudes you're cool with, and there's friends, and there's enemies.
No, there's
Yeah.
people you recognize, there's dudes you're cool with, there's people you hang out with, and they're friends.
Well, we mainly got on this topic before because I don't know, for some reason today I'm in the mood to make a meaningful connection with somebody. So You know,
Well, Josh and I you just missed us bonding over being wrongfully imprisoned.
Missed it.
oh yeah. Do you mind if I ask what was that and why?
Here, I'll just redrop some links.
Or do you want to go to your place?
No, it's fine. Basically, I can't stop the whole. I did everything. House bug.
Is he skipping out for anybody else?
Can you guys hear me?
You were skipping out for a second, dude.
Am I
It's your
still skipping out?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, hold
Yeah,
on.
kind of. Oh, there's a legit picture of him right here.
So legit.
Picture
Oh,
is real.
damn.
It's not a fake picture.
Have you seen the moisture on the channel, Taylor?
They really got.
No? Okay.
Taylor.
Now we have no sound at all.
Did they really get him on this?
They came and picked him up on that.
Wow.
Without a warrant.
The search warrant resulted in a collection of.
Search warrant.
They really didn't have a warrant.
Search warrant?
Yeah. Well,
Never.
oh,
yeah.
you mean without warrant, without reason, without a good reason.
What else? Hello.
Hey, can you hear us now, Taylor?
Oh, there you go. All right. Better?
Yes.
So who tipped them off?
I don't know. It's not stated in either of the warrants, and we haven't. I've been out for 4 days, so we haven't had the discovery answered yet.
Sounds like somebody on here.
It's I believe I've got theories, but we'll find out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
What happens then?
I go to court, and the lawyers discuss
Right to
my
face
ability
it.
to contact the witness and the victim, being Katie and my daughter. And I pee in a cup in front of the lady. And, yeah.
Yeah, you have a right to face your accuser unless there is a reasonable amount of, I guess you can say, danger directed towards your accuser.
Well, that would be a hard thing to argue.
Yeah.
But it's also hard to argue that I have distribution or anything, because, look, I mean, she's really pushing a lot of things uphill hard, the county attorney. But,
Take it to court, man.
Both of you guys are skipping out, or it might be me.
No.
You're clear.
One is robot.
Am I still skipping out?
Robot.
Okay.
And Taylor.
John is a little bit choppy to me.
What about now? Am I still robotic?
You're better.
Okay. Yeah.
So anyways, go ahead.
I was going to say, take it to court because with the jury, you have to have beyond a reasonable doubt.
I've got I'm not being accused of murder, so no, you don't.
Well,
I'm being accused of
being charged and being indicted. You know, being charged for something, there has to be a reasonable doubt, or beyond a reasonable doubt for whatever it is that you did.
not all crimes. Not all
If they
crimes.
think that you're distributing, they would have to be able to provide some kind of proof that you are distributing.
Right. Or you could live in a state where distribution is assumed at a certain weight level,
At a certain level, yeah.
which is relatively small.
Well, I mean, for at least, okay, so let's just say for weed, that's like 2.5 ounces, isn't it?
I don't know, but for most powders, it's 3.5 grams.
Yeah.
Here. So
And you have
as long as you are not homeless, you're probably your personal distribution.
And basically, they found more than 3.5.
Well, see, I don't know what they're going to say they found. I mean, I know what they have said they found, but I also know that things have changed a few times. I got arrested. I mean, I was in jail for a solid 24 hours before I was even preliminary charges.
Oh, so they had a search warrant based off of
They had a search
assault.
warrant.
Well, if they found drugs, if they found drugs in a search of something regarding assault, the drugs are irrelevant to the initial reason, I guess you can say. I forgot the direct term for it. But the thing that cops have to pull you over.
4 different agencies showed up at my house at 8:30, woke me up out of bed, and carried me outside. Said they had a search warrant that they did not show me, and wanted the combination of my safe that they saw sitting by the bed. I asked for my lawyer. They took me to jail.
Yeah, first thing you say, the only thing you say, lawyer. Don't
for
get on the
asking for a
combination.
lawyer.
No, fuck that.
I didn't, but they sawed into it. They sawed into 4 safes. They hired a welding shop and got into 4 different safes. Took everything out of all of them, including my personal checks, my tax returns. They've got a lot of porn of mine.
Okay, and are you countersuing for damages?
Like I said, I've been out for 5 days.
Oh, okay.
I've been in jail for 9 with no charges, with no formal charges.
You haven't even had a preliminary yet.
Wait. They
Yes, they
held you for 9 days without charge.
They held me for 24 hours without any sort of a charge. Then after 24 hours, they said possession with intent to distribute. But those were not formalized until 9 days later when I went before the judge for my first hearing. 28 minutes before my first hearing in front of the judge, they changed them and added 2 more charges.
They entered his home, arrested him without a warrant. They retroactively applied for a warrant.
No, they never got a arrest warrant. They got a search warrant. They arrested me prior to conducting the search. They conducted the search, including breaking into my safe, which was not mentioned on the warrant. So they vandalized my property to get into my stuff.
You might be able to get this thrown out just for bad procedure.
Right.
That is so bad. Like,
But
no.
he says that the prosecutor has something against him, but I'm with you. I think in this preliminary, I think
My landlord was not
So
notified.
You rent from a landlord. All right. So even if your house was bugged, it's a private domain. There is a reasonable expectation of privacy.
No, there isn't.
No,
No, there isn't.
because they've got. Well, I mean, the argument would be obviously reasonable intent. It'd be part of a search warrant. I've already had 2 search warrants served on me.
And this would be a search warrant that you wouldn't know about.
Right. Strangely, both of the other 2 search warrants spell my name wrong.
I wouldn't worry too much about being bugged, but I also wouldn't say anything in your home that you don't need to, that doesn't need to be said.
Right. So that's why I keep saying things like my house might be bugged, because that's me saying I'm not saying something.
Yeah. I doubt your house is bugged.
And it's also me going, hi, Tracy, hi, Jimmy. Love you, Barrett.
Man, I mean, I love the good police, but the bad cops, they're the worst of the worst in our society.
Well, the weird thing is,
they hold domain over us and they abuse it.
what's confusing to me is that there was no one from the police department, but there was 4 counties of sheriffs.
Well, and in some jurisdictions, the sheriff's department. Well, the sheriff's department are who come and get you, basically.
Are you
But
sure you
no-
didn't get like swatted by
Yeah,
somebody?
I know what SWATs look like.
No, I mean like
I was caught in a SWAT.
I don't mean literal SWAT. I mean like when somebody comes online and kind of trolls you by calling the police on you midstream, like
Oh,
while you're
I've seen that. No, fuck those people.
You need at least like 2 or 3 people to call in and corroborate that for the cops to pull their.
that's easy. That's easy to either fake or to just to have a couple people call in.
I actually went.
To call and say that what? Like, so the first one was for drugs and poaching. 2 things totally unrelated. But you mean like
Well,
some?
I mean, for example, I've been personally witness to some things on here that you know you can call the police on. I mean, not that I fucking care. I don't give a shit.
Right.
But you know, I mean, like it's.
I'm not sure at all. No,
John.
I think there's a very good possibility that the informants are fake people who are just enemies.
Okay.
My H dealer, luckily, I got there after the cops showed up. They didn't have a warrant either. They had to wait for the warrant too. And there were like fucking 10 of them there. And I was so fucking stupid. I saw cops out front of his house, out of his apartment. I was like, oh, they're with the people that are domestic violence across the hall, you know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the back door and I locked on the door. I was like, why is it taking so long for Matt to open the door? You know, why is it taking so fucking long? And I had 60 fucking $1 bills in my pocket, 2 needles in my pocket. Thank God they were new, they were clean, no residue. And I was greeted at the door by 2 police officers, and I was in cuffs for 5 hours. And they tried to flip me on my friend. There were 2 cops working on me.
Well, that's a standard operating procedure.
Well, I know, but there were 2 cops working on me for like 2 hours. I was fucking in tears by the end of it. And this guy was like, he's not your friend. He's using you. He's using you for, you know, money. He's trying to fill you full of poison and take your money. I'm like, dude, I've fucking known him since I was fucking 16 years old. Give me a fucking break.
That is actually technically, literally one of the first things they learn at cop school.
Yeah. And it was totally obvious they were good copy, bad copy, but they were so fucking hard on me. I mean, I was in tears by the time it was over because I just couldn't take it anymore. I was fucking just like going nuts. And the guy,
Here's my prediction to you.
the guy wanted me, he gave me his number. He said, I want you to go out and into the city of Richmond, which is a fucking dangerous fucking city, and try to buy heroin and do something good for your community. I was like, do you want me to fucking get shot? You want me to fucking get killed?
You don't care.
You can get a fucking arrest and get a fucking medal or something. I was like, you're fucking crazy. You're out of your fucking mind. I was like, I'm not going down into fucking Mosby Court. I'm not going down into Gilpin Court. I'm not going down into fucking Wickham Court. Fuck that. I was like, I'll get fucking shot in
Listen to this
fucking 5
prediction.
minutes just because I'm fucking white.
Josh.
Yeah.
This is not over. I guarantee you. Listen to this prediction. Sometime after the next hearing, if I make progress, which I will, they will arrest Katie.
And then you get your daughter back, or your
You
parents.
did not hear at all what came out of my mouth, did you?
Oh, your roommate.
The girl, right? The blonde girl who's here sometimes. Yeah, she's a witness that I'm not allowed to have contact with. She's also been the girl I live with for 2 years, so she's also to say a weak link in the steely armor of toughness that is Taylor.
Guilty by association.
Strategic, basically.
Well, you can probably save her from that. I mean,
well,
you can anesthetize her from that if you choose to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that there's a series of things here that
that's what they'll try to do, though. They'll try to do that.
I guarantee that if I don't go down easy, they're gonna charge her with something and try to get her a break.
And then she's gonna blame you, and then you have a ruined relationship, and that's what they do. I mean, my friend's girlfriend, who was a fucking basket case, batshit fucking crazier than I am. She thought I spoke to the cops about them because I was the only one that got to leave because I hadn't done any drugs yet, and I had clean needles, and I hadn't bought anything yet, and I wasn't caught with a needle in my arm like the other girl that was there.
I bet you walked out of there still super disappointed that you weren't high.
Fuck yeah! Oh my god! You have no fucking clue. You have no fucking clue. I wish I had gotten there fucking like 45 minutes earlier and thrown my needle behind the fucking couch and fucking been like, you know what? I'm just here. I mean, I know Matt wouldn't have said anything. But the other girl
had let me wear pants.
The other girl that was there was literally caught in the process of shooting up. That's why she got arrested. I was the only one that didn't get arrested. But I was still in cuffs for like fucking 5 hours. And they were the old school cuffs. This cop had fucking some deep fucking cuffs. They were fucking aluminum, like no, they were like aluminum, but it looked like tin on the outside. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they carried me out of the house by those.
And they were tight as fuck, and they fucking put them on too tight on purpose.
Yes, they do. The more uncomfortable you are, the more cooperative you are.
I was not cooperative.
No, you weren't.
I wasn't gonna fucking turn on my friend. I was like, fuck that. No. I wasn't gonna turn on my friend. I hadn't done anything wrong. There was nothing they could get me on. So there's no reason for me to. The only issue was that they fucking had me fucking so maddening, fucking crazy, fucking going back and forth in my head that I fucking literally started crying.
Right. I mean, yeah. Just because you haven't done anything wrong doesn't mean they can't fuck your life up.
Yeah, well, they got my address after that. I never was greeted by them, luckily.
The second time they kicked off the closet door. That was unnecessary.
They're just trying to... See, these are the guys that weren't popular in high school. I swear to God.
No, this is the county attorney who represented my ex-wife as a private divorce lawyer.
He kicked in your...
No, she's the one that's very adamant about my criminality.
I'm assuming you had the on you and some guns.
Okay, let me retell you exactly what happened, but I want you to listen to me and not talk past me.
Okay.
Because I've done it twice already, at least. I was asleep, and I woke up being carried outside of my house by a sheriff. He parked me in front of another sheriff who said, "I have a search warrant. What's the combination to your safe?" I said, "Can I have pants I'd like to speak to my attorney. They took me to jail. It was not an arrest warrant. They had not searched my house. I did not give them the combination to my safe. It was locked. They did not have a safe mentioned on the search warrant. They did outside contract somebody to come in and cut open all 4 of my safes. Then they took everything out of all of them, including my checkbooks, my wallet, and my jewelry. That is all apparently evidence.
So there were no drugs.
That it doesn't. I mean, either way, what they're saying happened was inside of a safe that they shouldn't have been in. And I was in jail for 9 days.
Well,
Not a reason.
They didn't have a warrant to be there in the fucking first place.
They had a search warrant that mentions the house, the cars, and the shed. It mentions the basement, and it's half finished. It mentions the rooms, the layout, and everything. It's a detailed description of my vehicles and my home. It does not mention that I have 4 safes.
Well, you're lucky you have a good attorney, because he's likely going to get you off on like John said, procedural errors. And if he doesn't, then the preliminary hearing magistrate or judge, whoever presides over it, is a piece of fucking trash and does not follow the law.
Right. Which I don't know. It's very early, but he's nervous because he knows me, because we're friends, and he knows that I'm a volatile person. So I'm sitting at my house, being a good boy, not doing anything, not saying anything, not drinking anything, because that's against my bond.
That is my advice to you. That is my greatest advice to you, is to stay calm. Just fucking wear a face of facade.
Dude, my calmness is very much more real than yours.
Well, good. That's a good thing.
I got really good at that self-control thing over 9 days, practicing not thinking.
No, would you like your wine? Oh. Having an online conversation.
John, you look like you caught a mouse.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm having a conversation.
Have you seen the moisture videos of yesterday?
No, I haven't.
Have you seen the titles?
I've seen the titles, and I've kind of went, I click it, I don't want to click it. I did watch all in its entirety the video where Eric is mumbling sleepily, and you are sitting there patiently.
You were lagging a bit. What did you say?
We think we are, or whatever, when Eric's falling asleep and talking, and you're listening for 45 minutes.
I'm what for 45 minutes?
Politely listening.
You're lagging so bad it's impossible to hear what you say.
Yeah, you are really skipping out. Can you refresh?
Oh, hi. What?
Is this better?
Maybe. Anyway, you were saying
What was I saying?
something about that you wanted to do with the videos when you
I,
watched them.
the video that's like 45 minutes of Eric talking and you listening, but he's like falling asleep. He's like,
Yeah.
Oh, the one where he was not being a very good mediator at all.
No, I haven't seen that one yet, I think.
And Eric's describing cognitive functions. You start with SI, then
You're skipping out way too much, man.
I'll second.
I feel bad. I'm kind of like blowing up Elsie over here, asking her like all these fucking questions.
On Facebook?
Yeah,
Are you interrogating her?
kind of. Yeah.
What are you guys talking about?
Sex. No.
Obviously.
Well, I'm mainly asking her questions about like what it's like to live on a farm, or if she does, and how she breeds ducks and all that. But she's just linking me a bunch of articles. I don't want to know what the articles say. I want to know what she thinks about them.
Hello.
Is this better?
I don't know.
Whoa, what's happening?
There's two of you.
This is crazy. Okay.
I guess you forgot your whole train of thought.
Better, worse, up, down?
Better.
Much better.
Okay, no. The video where Eric looks like he's falling out of an Adderall binge, and he spends 45 minutes discussing, starting with SI and then getting to FI and all the cognitive functions, and you're politely on screen. It's just the two of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched almost that entire video. And then I turned it off right before the end because it was putting me to sleep and I was driving.
It was boring.
It was kind of interesting, but like the delivery was so not interesting.
Yeah, it was tired.
You needed some he needed a PowerPoint presentation with it. John, do you mind if I ask what in the hell you're talking about?
I'm kind of like interrogating somebody. I'm just asking somebody a lot of questions about themselves.
To what agenda?
Well, I'm in the mood today to make a meaningful connection with somebody, to make friends with somebody. So I'm kind of just in that zone. If the question really was, whether or not I'm trying to get laid, no, I'm not. Can you still hear me?
Yes, and we just heard a cat.
Okay. Oh, really? Now I'm intrigued.
Now you're going there.
Oh, I could so go there. You'd be surprised what kind of shit I'm into, man. I wouldn't doubt that there is something in my interest because of that, yes.